So far this season, I really haven't shown a whole lot of NCAA 13 strategies or tips. So I thought this week, with the BCS title game coming up between Notre Dame and Alabama, I thought I'd go ahead and show some defenses and some offensive plays over the next few weeks here at X's O's Football. And here I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a defense that I like to run. It's called 3-4 over sting pinch zone. And this particular defense, I'm looking to get inside pressure from the right inside linebacker. Now with this particular defense, because the coverages aren't that great, you got to hope that you can get that inside pressure, and you need to get it pretty quick. And speaking of the pass coverages, as you look at it, you're going to wind up having only 5 defenders dropping back in zone coverage. So you can look at your screen, and you can see that these are the 5 defenders that are going to drop back. And as you look at it, you wind up having an invert cover 2. And what I mean by an invert cover 2 is you wind up having 2 defenders playing the deep coverages rather than it being the safeties. In this case, it's going to wind up being a corner. So you can see here it's the right cornerback. He's going to cover the deep 1/2 towards the left, and then you're going to wind up having the left cornerback covering the deep right 1/2. So as you look at it, that's what we call invert cover 2 as you look at it. And then you're going to wind up having 3 defenders playing hook zones underneath. So you can look at your screen right here. You have these 3 playing hook zones. So you have the strong safety, free safety, and in this case it winds up being the left inside linebacker. So as you look at it, those are the 3 defenders that are going to wind up dropping back as far as in hook zones. Now with this particular defense, as far as with the setup, it's real simple to do, and what I like about it is, especially if you go ahead and play in an online dynasty or something like that and you don't want to move a lot of defenders, this is one of those defenses that you can do that. Matter of fact, we really only got to move 1 defender. So let's go ahead and take a look at the setup. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and pinch the defensive line. And then the next thing we want to do is go ahead and take control of this guy right here as you look at your screen, which is going to wind up being the right outside linebacker. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring him inside here so he lines up more or less head up over the left tackle, or where he lines up real close to the right end, such as what you're seeing on your screen there. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and re-hot route him to blitz. So his blitz angle is now shooting straight up, and it should be shooting right towards the left tackle. Then you want to go ahead and take control of this guy right here, which is going to wind up being the nose tackle. And what you want to do with him is you want to go ahead and re-hot route him to blitz. So his blitz angles now is shooting straight up towards the center as you look at your screen. And that's really it as far as this setup is concerned. Now there's some other setups that you can do with this particular defense to get a little bit better pass coverage. As a matter of fact, you can get an extra defender to drop back. But with this particular setup, you're not going to get that. You're going to have a 6-man pass rush, and you're just hoping to get some quick pressure with this. Matter of fact, what I am going to suggest doing, and I went ahead and do it with this particular defense, is I went ahead and did the middle linebacker swap, and what that wind up doing is putting my left inside linebacker at the right inside linebacker position. So it basically just swapped the 2 linebackers, and that way I wind up getting a faster linebacker going after the quarterback who will wind up shooting through the A-gap. And speaking of the defender that we're looking to get pressure from, it's going to wind up coming from this guy right here as you look at your screen, which is going to be from the right inside linebacker. And what we're looking for is for him to come up through that A-gap. So he's going to wind up coming in this area here. So you're going to wind up see him shooting through the A-gap and wind up coming after the quarterback pretty quickly. And that's the idea of this particular setup. Now, as far as on the offensive side of the ball, I want to go ahead and talk about this a little bit, and we'll snap it here in just a second. You can see, as you look at your screen, all 5 receivers are going out. Now, if the halfback was to stay in the pass block, stay towards the right, pretty much he's going to wind up picking up that blitz. I can tell you that right now. Now, hopefully, maybe your linebacker can do some shed blocking and wind up getting past him. Hopefully, that'll wind up happening. Or say, for instance, the halfback stays in the pass block this direction, he'll probably still wind up picking it up, or some type of thing will happen with the offensive line where they'll pick it up. But if everybody goes out, you should wind up getting the pressure. If this is against shotgun formations, you'll still wind up getting the same type of pressure as well. So I want to talk about that. And also just kind of go in there, depending on what the formation is. If they come out in the weak eye formation and if they have the fullback blocking to the left, you're probably going to wind up getting pressure on the quarterback. So you want to kind of play around with these setups. I realize that a lot of times you guys go on YouTube or wherever and you wind up seeing everybody going out, and as far as all the receivers, yeah, you get this nice A-gap heat, but then they really don't explain to why it happened or what happens if this guy stays in the pass block. So I want to point that out to you. So let's just go ahead and run this one and take a look at it, and you're going to wind up seeing you getting that A-gap pressure. Now, what I do want to do is I want to go into this, and I want to talk about, as far as from the instant replay, and just kind of go into the top-down view and talk about the pass blocking assignment so you get a better idea why this blitz actually works. So let's go in here real quick and just take a look at that. Let's zoom in a little bit here because we really can kind of get a little bit closer idea of how this works. So what winds up happening here is the left tackle actually winds up blocking the right outside linebacker. And one other thing before I get too far into this, as far as with when I talk about right outside, left in, right in, when you look at the depth charts, the left outside linebacker is actually going to be lined up over here. So if I say left outside linebacker, even though he's on the right side of the field, he's actually the left outside linebacker. So please keep that in mind anytime you look at some of my videos. So let's go back into here and show this, what we were talking about earlier. The left tackle, he's going to go ahead and block the right outside linebacker. And then what we get here is we wind up getting the left guard. He's going to block the right end. And then we wind up getting a nose tackle. He's going to wind up being blocked by the center, which is right there. And then the right guard, he's going to wind up blocking the left end. And then finally towards the outside over here, as you look at it, the right tackle is actually going to wind up blocking the left outside linebacker. So what we wind up getting here is we wind up getting these 5 offensive linemen blocking 5 defenders as you look at it. So the numbers dictate that we're going to wind up favoring us on the defensive side of the ball because we're going to have this one extra defender who's not going to be blocked, and that's going to be this guy right here, which again is going to wind up being that right inside linebacker, will wind up shooting through that A gap. Now that's what makes this blitz work, because you wind up having 5 offensive linemen blocking 5 defensive linemen, or 5 defensive defenders that are blitzing. And as I said before, if that halfback goes out, such as what you're seeing on your screen, then obviously we're going to get this pressure, and that's why we're getting this A gap pressure. But as I pointed out earlier, so when we rewind it, if this guy was to stay in the pass block, then we wind up having 6 blockers, and they wind up having, as far as on the offensive side of the ball, they have 6 blockers, we have 6 pass rushers. It all evens out. Obviously, there's some different things you can do to get pressure, but just keep that in mind as you watch this and go and lab these type of plays, that what you're trying to do is get the numbers on your side as far as getting the pressure on the quarterback. And there's other ways you can do things as far as overloading and create some kinds of types of pressure, but this is a pretty straight up type of blitz that you're going to wind up getting that pressure, providing that they got everybody going out. So as you look at this one, you can see the pressure coming up the gut from the right inside linebacker. The name of this one is called 3-4 over sting pinch zone, looking to get pressure from the right inside linebacker.